All right, so let's talk about meal plans and the different types of ways you can get fed at college. So most colleges have one of two different types of programs that they use. One is called the like the debit card program, where you put a certain amount of money on a debit card, whatever they call it, and then you spend the money when you go into the cafeteria or any local eateries or that kind of stuff. And some of them also you can use them to buy. Not usually books, but like you could buy things at the the student center and all that kind of stuff. You usually can use your debit card like that. And so what will happen is it will show up either as a charge on your bill, on your tuition bill, that if parents are paying for it, or if you're paying yourself, you'll just see that there's a certain amount that you could pay each month that goes on to your, or that you pay at the beginning of the semester and it goes on your card, and that's just what you get. Or you can recharge it, every, so often, or something along those lines. So, I will tell you that most people, end up. You want to make sure you want to ask a lot of questions if that's the program that your school has. Like one is, what happens to any over, like sometimes if you're putting a certain amount on each month, what happens at the end of the semester with the extra dollars? Okay, do they just disappear? Because some schools do that. Okay, if you have any overcharge, if you have any money left on it, that just goes away. If you graduate, the money just goes away. Do you get that back? How do you get it back? Okay, do you get it back in what form? Do you get a rebate back to your off your tuition or something along those lines? So you got to find out from your school what happens to unused debit card dollars as far as money goes, and also is it an automatic thing that put on, or do you have to go and put it on yourself? Okay, and so for example, like they might not take cash. At the cafeteria at your school, you only can use their debit card or whatever it is that they use, and so. So you want to make sure that you have enough money so you can go and buy things at the cafeteria, but also that you're not putting so much money on there that you can't use. You just have money for other things, to use outside of campus or off campus, or for books or those types of things. So you have to be careful with that program. You just got to try to figure it out. Very challenging when you're a freshman your first year because you don't really know how much money you need. On the card. So the best thing to do is to ask other students, ask a sophomore, ask other students, ask people who've been to the college. You might want to ask the guidance person or the admissions person, like what's the amount of money we should put on the debit card. What do most people do? And actually you want to say what do most people do like in their sophomore year, not their freshman year, because that's when you start to figure out what you should be doing with your plan. That wasn't the plan that I had at my school. My school and a lot of schools, a lot of bigger schools have meal plans. Okay, so where it's a buffet style. All the dining halls are buffet style. It's not like pay for each individual item that you want, and you swipe your card and you go in there. You can stay as long as you want, and when you leave, when you leave, then you leave, and you get a certain amount of meals, a certain amount of times you can go in. And so I will tell you with those, usually there's like a 12, there's usually a 12, an 18, and a 21 meal plan. Now, I will tell you, freshmen and freshman parents of people going into college, you do not need a 21 meal plan. I know we're afraid, I know my parents were. They were like, we'll just buy, whatever you need. We want to make sure that you're fed well, okay, and that you're going to get 3 square meals a day. And no student goes to the dining hall 3 times a day, every single day. It just doesn't happen. So a lot of times they'll college students sleep in sometimes, especially when they're their freshman year. If they're taking a couple classes in the morning, they're not going to go for breakfast, and they're going to go after class. If they have an 8 o'clock class that ends at 10, they'll probably just go straight to class. They're not going to go beforehand, and then they'll go and eat something afterwards. Or if most of the students their second semester, they usually move their classes into the middle of the day so they can sleep and they don't go to breakfast beforehand. And if they do, well, then in the middle of the day they're not going to use that meal plan because they're at class. And so I've never seen someone who actually needed a 21 meal plan, or had a student who said, darn it, I wish I had the 21 meal plan. So it really is just a waste of money, because with those extra meals, if you take a 21 meal plan and you're only eating, you're only going to the dining hall, 15 times a week, well, guess what happens to all the money? You just pay for the meals and that's it. So you pay for the plan. So an 18 plan is okay. A 15 plan is even better. A lot of times you can, again, there's other places to eat on campus too. So a lot of times they'll go other places to eat, not just the dining hall. So just be careful, and you really don't need a max meal plan. Your sons and daughters and you, if you're a student, will have enough food. Trust me. So those are usually the two types of meal plans, and just be careful that you're not wasting money for things that you don't really need.